Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the signatories of Treaty 6, and I acknowledge the Métis people who share a deep connection with this land. I'm Janice Irwin, the MLA for Edmonton-Highlands-Norwood, and I'm so proud to be here today with my colleague, David Shepherd, the MLA for Edmonton City Centre, and Tim Lynn, business owner and resident of downtown Edmonton, Susan Forsey, the co-owner of the Cask and Barrel and Rocky Mountain Ice House, and William Lau, Chinatown resident and someone who's working incredibly hard to revitalize Chinatown. I'm so excited to be here today to release our plan to restore vibrancy and revitalize downtown Edmonton. And I'm so proud to represent the East End of downtown Edmonton. It's one of the most culturally diverse and exciting areas of the city. From Little Italy to Chinatown, you can find some of the most delicious food, unique shops, and some of the kindest folks in all of Edmonton. Edmonton's downtown core has been a central hub for vibrant small businesses, residents, and visitors alike. But over the last few years, the economic downturn has hurt downtown Edmonton. The unprecedented challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic have emptied office towers and increased social disorder and concerns about safety. The need to revitalize Edmonton's downtown has become more evident than ever before. Residents and community leaders all want to see real action. They want evidence-based support for houseless Edmontonians. They want to see mental health and addiction support prioritized, including investments in harm reduction, in transitional supports, and in pathways to recovery. And they want economic and social supports to help address the challenges that their communities are facing in order to revitalize our neighborhoods and support struggling small businesses. It's time for the provincial government to take decisive action to restore vibrancy to the area so that people are supported, so that they feel safe, and that businesses can return to the area. By doing so, we can make the downtown core more attractive, more accessible to workers, visitors, and residents alike. And with that, I'm so pleased to turn it over to David Shepherd for more on today's announcement.
Well, thank you, Janice, and thank you for your tireless advocacy for your community and for our city's downtown. You know, I've been a proud resident of the heart of our city here for nearly 15 years, and I've had the honor of representing downtown Edmonton for almost 8. And in that time, there's been a lot of growth and change. I've seen it here. It's created new vibrancy and excitement as so many have worked so hard and invested to build up our downtown. As Janice said, unfortunately with the COVID-19 pandemic, so much of what keeps the heart of our city here animated and alive was brought to a sudden halt. And that exposed and amplified some of the longest standing challenges our communities have faced. And over the last year, I've spoken with constituents, with stakeholders, with business owners about these impacts, their concerns, and what provincial government could do to help. And in those conversations, 3 things have been clear. We want the heart of our city to be a vibrant, attractive place to live and visit. We want everyone who lives and visits here to feel safe and welcome. And we want to see compassionate, effective, evidence-based supports for our friends, neighbors, and family in need. So today we're announcing our plan to restore vibrancy, increase safety, and revitalize downtown Edmonton. The proposals in this paper are the result of consultations with Edmontonians, the nonprofit sector, the business community, and many, many people who are advocating for the heart of our city. And we've heard very clearly through our consultations that the current social disorder is the #1 issue facing downtown. Now, we've recently announced a number of steps to help meet this challenge, including our affordable housing plan, which will give 40,000 more Albertans a safe and affordable place to call home in 5 years by building 8,500 more affordable housing units across Alberta, including 2,000 bridge or transitional housing units for those most in need, and increasing rental assistance to support 11,000 more homes. And that will absolutely help people in downtown Edmonton. In addition, we've recently released our plan to address crime and safety in downtown Edmonton by restoring fine revenue that was previously cut by the UCP government. This would restore $5 million in funding for Edmonton and allow the city to hire more police officers. And in addition, we'll invest in integrated teams to help make urban transit safe while addressing and supporting those with challenges in poverty, homelessness, mental health and addictions. We will also commit $50 million in capital funding for physical improvements to derelict spaces, address security concerns, and help fund large capital projects to attract people to our downtown. The city's already put forward the Downtown Public Places Plan that seeks to make further improvements to the downtown that will require further funding to implement. That includes improvements to Warehouse Park, Beaver Hills House Park, Michael Fair Park, 97th Street Bridge area renewal, and other projects. We'll also give $5 million to support ongoing efforts by the city and the Edmonton Downtown Business Association to attract new businesses into downtown and improve existing spaces. And another $1.5 million to the Chinatown Recovery Fund to support the ongoing work to revitalize Chinatown. This proposal also seeks to continue the expansion of post-secondary institutions that contribute so much to our downtown core. That includes MacEwan University's new business school. And lastly, we'll reinstate the interactive digital media tax credit and the Alberta investor tax credit to restore our competitiveness, attract investment, and create jobs in downtown Edmonton. These tax credits helped startups grow, attracted established companies to come to Alberta, and created jobs right here in my constituency in Edmonton's downtown. However, the cancellation of those credits led to companies instead moving jobs out of the province and the industry missing out on investment. Together, the ideas in this proposal put forward a clear plan for concrete action and investments to bring new life to the heart of our city that will increase vibrancy, restore a sense of safety, and revitalize our downtown. But I know we can't do it alone. It's going to take coordination between all levels of government, the business community, the nonprofit sector, and community members. And I want to give a specific thank you today to all of those who have been advocating, speaking with me and my staff over the last 3 years about revitalizing downtown and bringing your ideas to us. I look forward to the work ahead, the opportunity to be part of such an important city building project. And now I'd like to turn things over to one of the people involved in that work, Mr. Tim Lin.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate how hard you've been working to help make Edmonton, and especially the downtown constituency, so great. My name's Tim Lin. I live, work, and play in downtown Edmonton. In my professional life, I work to build community across the prairies. I do this in the tech sector, but I do believe the fundamentals are paralleled when trying to build a downtown community. Downtown needs to be an exciting and amenity-filled place to draw people to come visit, and it needs to be safe to have them keep coming back. To have a fun and enjoyable time, you need to be able to feel at ease. Downtown pre-pandemic was on a fantastic path. The Ice District created hope and buzz for the city, and the streets were full of people visiting, working, and living downtown. And you get a taste of that during the playoff season right now. COVID paused that activity, and we've since had a tough few years as we've seen businesses of all sorts shut down. The energy that used to make this part of the city alive and vibrant just hasn't naturally returned over the last couple years. Instead, I've seen the opposite. With the decline in businesses and people presence on the street, too many people have been moving out of downtown and choosing not to invest. It's a spiral. People leave, amenities drop because there's less demand, crime rises in its footprint, people leave, you understand. It's momentum that's going in the wrong direction. We need to take active steps to revitalize our downtown core. Investing in public infrastructure, housing, and social supports are important to helping resolve the safety issues. No matter how many amenities are downtown, people won't come to visit them if they don't feel safe doing so. And following the city's lead by helping to stimulate the development and creation of new retail storefronts and working to make downtown a more compelling place to spend time and live will further help this currently unbalanced trade. It's not just about storefronts. It also means investing in new economic sectors that will create well-paying jobs and help entrepreneurs get their start right here, where they can choose to then build and stay in downtown Edmonton in the core. Edmonton already has a strong tech and digital media sector that's grown significantly over the past several years, but there's more to do. Transformation of our downtown doesn't happen overnight, but the policies the Alberta NDP are proposing to invest in social services, in the attraction and creation of new businesses, both retail and in tech, are the foundation for transformative change. With this type of investment, I'm excited to see what our city can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for sharing your passion for our downtown core. And now I'd like to invite Susan to share a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Sorry, it's a little windy. So, my name's Susan Forsey. I own 2 pubs in downtown Edmonton. They're Cask and Barrel and the Rocky Mountain Ice House. I've actually lived in Edmonton all my life since I was a year old, and I've lived in the downtown core specifically for the last 25 years. I've always believed in downtown Edmonton. It's just been my passion here. My career started in one of the major hotels in the year 2000. It was sad, unfortunately, that we were actually nicknamed the term Deadmonton. I'd have visitors coming in throughout all Canada, and they would ask me at 6 o'clock, where can I go for dinner? Well, you'd have to get in a cab and you'd have to leave the downtown core. Over the last 10 years, I've seen us grow. We have had fast forward a decade, and we have become a vibrant place to live in the downtown area. Edmontonians were opening fantastic independent cafes, restaurants, pubs, little boutique stores. It made me even more proud of our city, and I loved living in the downtown core. Being able to walk and do a whole bunch of different, go for coffee in the morning and then go out for dinner in the evening. Never in my lifetime did I imagine that we would go through a pandemic, and with it came major changes to our streets. I've watched as less people come downtown to visit, and more people are now working from home. I strongly believe in the revitalization of our downtown, and we need to focus on the safety of our streets and the public transportation. This is why I'm here today. Even though we have taken a few steps back, I believe we can get Edmonton back to where we were. I believe we can rebuild it. We can get more people living downtown and enjoying our streets again. We need to live, work, and play, and we need people to come and visit us again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. Just want to take a moment and share a few thoughts from some other business and community leaders who weren't able to join us here today. From Panita McBrien, the Executive Director of the Edmonton Downtown Business Association, the Alberta NDP's Edmonton Downtown Vibrancy Plan demonstrates that this caucus is listening to Edmontonians on this issue and are willing to make key investments and take action to address the critical challenges we're facing. From Jordan Reiniger, Executive Director of Boyle Street Community Services, our downtown is full of vibrant and diverse communities, and we need multifaceted and inclusive approaches that both straighten those qualities and that strengthen those qualities, and that ensure the safety and well-being of everyone, especially those most at risk. We are happy to see this reflected in this plan. And lastly, from Jan Fox, the second to lastly, Jan Fox, Executive Director of Reach Edmonton. Sustainable and predictable funding for downtown services and agencies helps make communities safer and more vibrant. Reach Edmonton urges all provincial leaders to make public commitments to support growth and investment in our city. We're encouraged by this announcement and will continue advocating for direct funding to social agencies to ensure the most impactful community outcomes for Edmontonians. And lastly, from Alex Harisu, the Chair of the Downtown Recovery Coalition. We're pleased with this significant recognition of the heart of our city throughout this plan and the commitment to address a number of our specific advocacy requests. Downtowns are the economic engines of municipalities, and we look forward to hearing more and developing further opportunities for collaboration in the future. With that, we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Just a reminder, if you're on Zoom, it's the raise hand function. If you're on the phone, it's *9. Please state your name and outlet and who you'd like to direct your question to. We'll start in the room here, or outside. I guess we're not in a room.
Thanks for taking my question. Jean-Emmanuel, Radio-Canada. David, for the $50 million in improvement, how did you come up with that specific number, and why do you have any specific projects in mind apart from what's written in the proposal? Thank you.
So we came up with the $50 million based on some of the plans that are in place with the City of Edmonton, in discussions with some of the stakeholders and people involved, and just sort of looking at what was available in the community. A lot of what we looked at in this plan was responding to specific requests from community, from both the city, the Downtown Recovery Coalition, residents, and others that we've spoken with. And so looking at the project that the city had in the pipeline and potential others coming, $50 million seemed to be an appropriate figure.
Okay, thank you. I've got a follow-up as well. Yesterday, the Oilers Entertainment Group had a statement about potential public funding for the Calgary Arena, and they were essentially saying, well, we're looking forward to work with the government or the next government for our Phase 2 expansion. Would you commit to working with them for public money for their Phase 2 expansion of Ice District?
So, you know, in all my discussions with folks around downtown vibrancy and some of the needs for investment in the projects, to be honest, the phase 2 of that development has not been something that's come up. That has not been something that's been prioritized or highlighted. But certainly, you know, we'd be happy to sit down and speak with anybody who has projects going for the downtown to understand what the value might be to our community, how it might add for vibrancy. But ultimately, we are always going to be looking at how we can be most responsible with the public's tax dollars. That's why our leader, Rachel Notley, has been very clear when it comes to the arena project in Calgary. You know, we really need to see clear details on those numbers. We've seen the cost there double from what the original proposition was back in 2019. So ultimately, that will always be our bottom line, ensuring that we are investing our public dollars in the best outcomes for our communities. I think there's a lot of ways we can do that in downtown Edmonton.
Thank you. We'll just do one more pass for questions. Just a reminder, if you're on Zoom, it's the raise hand function. If you're on the phone, it's *9. Would you have any more questions here? You're okay? Okay. Seeing none, that concludes our press conference for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much for watching, and to learn more, check out albertasfuture.ca.